everyone, it's Danielle Taylor with Keller Williams Realty here on the beautiful Outer Banks. So this is awesome information. I'm loving all of this. So let's get to the dollars and cents, right?
Exactly.
So I thought we can, exactly. I thought we could talk a little bit about rates. So maybe just start with, for you guys, how are rental rates set?
So I love the way you phrased the question because the answer is going to be the opposite. We actually don't set the rates per se.
I love it.
We have a starting point for rates, absolutely, and we look at, the general comps houses and say, okay, this is roughly the same location, roughly the same amount of bedrooms, similar amenities. It'll be, roughly priced the same. And then other, certain qualities come in like distinctive features, curb appeal, the quality of the interior decoration and decor, how well it's laid out. So all of that kind of comes into play in terms of rates. Village Realty does do dynamic pricing,
I'm sensing something good coming on here.
kind of at its core, because the market does fluctuate regularly, right? In the past, traditional property managers would set the coming year's rates roughly that spring time frame, and then there would be 18 potential months before the week even came, and the market could change 6 times over in that time frame. So dynamic pricing for us is just really closely watching how the market is filling and adjusting our rates up or down accordingly. I think in the past too, some traditional property management aspects were always more focused on setting a rate and then discounting it when it didn't fill or if it wasn't filling in the time in which they thought it should. But the opposite could hold true, and I think COVID has really shown us what we can do with our properties to really help our homeowners maximize their investment potential, which is just, some weeks are a little more popular than others. So we're trying to capitalize on that aspect of it for our homeowners. And really not necessarily just set the rates at what they should be and then just kind of back away and only discount. We're just kind of fluctuating up and down according to what that market is trending and how it's trending.
Right. Okay, absolutely. I love that. So I think that's a really interesting thing because I agree with you. I feel like, back in the day when we were doing stuff, it was always start here and discount as we get closer. There wasn't that dynamic part of it, which is it could be going up, it could be coming down. It just depends on the day. Do you have any, and I'm going to put you on the spot here because you probably didn't bring it, but I know that you shared with me at one point, you talked about how the dynamic pricing works to benefit the homeowner in terms of maximizing the overall. And I think you shared some data, maybe you can just talk in general about how your homes are booking at a higher rate. You have higher than the rest of the market. You have a higher occupancy rate, even though you're doing these dynamic pricing.
Absolutely, and I think that that's just indicative of what dynamic pricing is. We're just trying to get the highest rate possible for that time frame for that property. Whereas other property managers might kind of, set it and it becomes a little bit more steady. You do tend to fill a little sooner, and that is a little safer.
Okay, interesting.
From the rate standpoint, I would say if you're booked, a year in advance, you're probably priced too low.
Great point.
So we absolutely do try to focus, and again, we do go to individual homeowners' preferences. So if an owner wants that because they know they have $200,000 worth of off-season repairs for a roof and new decking, new siding, new windows, then we'll really try to say, okay, that's your strategy, that's what we have to do. Let's do this instead. Let's set you a little bit lower. Let's get you filled a little sooner. But for our homeowners who are really looking to maximize that potential, it really is setting it at that rate for this time frame. It might be a little lower for here, it might be a little higher for here, and then it really is able, our ADR has really gone through the roof by doing it in this manner because we're just literally capitalizing on that investment potential for that revenue.
I love that. I love that it's also owner-centric. Like, again, going back to what you said your culture is.
Absolutely.
So if you need someone that maybe maximizing rental revenue is not their goal. Maybe it's repeat guests and consistency and things like that. Then you set that strategy for them.
It's about the owner comfort level too. We take that into consideration. If they want to make sure their repeat renters get the rate they're comfortable with, and that's their priority, we can make that our priority.
I love it. I love it. Now this is a question I get all the time. Can you give us the difference between advertised rate and owner rate? What's the difference?
Keep in mind that really is different for every company.
Sure.
So sometimes you're looking at two numbers, and one's apples, one's oranges. Really.
Okay.
So the difference is going to be fees, really.
Okay.
At Village, the owner rate is really what the owner wants to get before commission being deducted.
Okay.
And we add on different fees that ultimately come to the advertised rate, and that becomes a guest paid fee. So like the cleaning, the linens,
Got
an
it.
admin fee that covers some of our incidentals and just carrying the lease and all the work that goes into that.
Okay.
So.
I would always say to a homeowner, and if we're having this conversation, you know, to kind of help educate, if you see not much different in a company's advertised rate and your owner rate, and you're thinking, oh, that's great, I pocket it all. You pocket it as you start, but you will generally see on your statement that those fees are coming from somewhere.
Right.
Either your commission would be higher or the housekeeping fee would be deducted from an itemized standpoint. So that is absolutely something I try to help them understand. It's apples to oranges, and to kind of hash out the details and to really understand. I've even said, you know, ask for a sample statement so you can really see what you're netting at the end of the day, at the end of the month.
Right. Okay. And that's really good to know. It's interesting that you say that. So like if the rates were fairly close, somebody's paying for the cleaning. Somebody's paying for, so you're either, like you said, paying it in commission or you're looking at it after. Whereas in your model, the majority of what's coming off your owner is commission, and then if there was any, you know, specific maintenance that they had signed up for or anything like that.
Absolutely. There are, our monthly statements are mostly just the commission and whatever incidental work orders were needed that month, and that is it.
And that's it. I love it. Okay. I also thought, someone said to me once, and I'll see if you agree with this, but the reason I like my clients to know advertised rate is because it does show what the market will bear for that home.
It does.
Right? So would you agree with that statement?
I would.
Okay.
I absolutely would.
Yeah.
Because I think you're right. The guest is willing to pay that for that moment, for that property, and it will show, you know, help show comp sets. But absolutely, it is powerful to see and to understand that.
Cool. Great. Awesome. I love it. This is such good stuff.
Yes, thank you.